Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me, Logan, aka Suburban Yinzer. And the title of this video is going to be, what does Gettysburg mean to me? Okay, why do I love Gettysburg? What is so special about Gettysburg? And what can I do to promote it so Yins can go there and see it for yourself? Because I've been to Gettysburg 8 times in my life. Okay? And for many Yins watching this, you probably think to yourselves, well, why would you go to an empty piece of land that is in the middle of Pennsylvania? There's nothing to do. It's farmland. It's boring. And what is so special about that place that is like a magnet to people like me? Well, this video is going to be basically like a love letter to Gettysburg. It's going to be a way to share my emotions and my thoughts and opinions about the battlefield, about the significance of it. What makes it so important? What makes it so iconic? What makes it a one-in-a-million place? Well, to start out, I have to go all the way back to 1863. Let's go all the way back. Well, my ancestors, my mother's side's from Virginia. My dad's side's from Pennsylvania. But my mom also has Virginian and Pennsylvanian ancestors. I'm not going to bore you on the family history. But what I can say is that I have ancestors that were in the United States, or in the colonies for that matter, since the 1600s. So in 1863, these bloodlines from Virginia and Pennsylvania, they essentially met in Gettysburg. Okay? The bloodlines from my dad's side and my mom's side combined, they met on this battlefield. Okay, this little battlefield in the middle of nowhere in eastern Pennsylvania, basically middle Pennsylvania, real close from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. My ancestors came together and they basically collided in a collision course of history. Okay, and this battle was, it is so significant when it comes to the timeline of my ancestors, but when it comes to the timeline of American history as a whole. Gettysburg was basically the tip of the spear. It was the tip of the iceberg. It was like the climax. It was the most important point of the Civil War. Okay, it is the point of no return. It was the turning point. Okay? And not to say that as a descendant of the Union or descendant of the Confederacy that I like either side more than the other. Because I'm 50-50. I'm half gray, half blue. Okay? I don't believe in being alt this or alt that. I don't believe in me, especially of all people, having two bloodlines to say that I like the Confederacy more than the Union or vice versa. Okay? I see the Battle of Gettysburg as an equal plane. And when I go there every single year, I make sure it's a tradition, okay, that I go to Gettysburg at least once a year. Maybe twice, but once a year. And most of the time when I go there, I'm on a mission. Because there is so much to do. Okay, it's not just some battlefield that you're going to walk around an open piece of land and go, okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? It's not this boring, insignificant place that has nothing. It's a town. And this town is known worldwide. There are people all over the world that know what happened at Gettysburg. My mother's ancestors from Virginia and Pennsylvania. So my mom's ancestors are from Virginia, were from Nelson County. And I have over, I'd say 50-some cousins, distant cousins from Virginia that fought in the Army of Northern Virginia alone. 50 is just an estimation. It could be 100. I don't know. And my mother's father's side from Pennsylvania were from Chambersburg, literally 25 miles from Gettysburg. So my family was involved in Gettysburg on my mother's side. Now my father's side, he has 2 direct bloodline ancestors that fought in the 74th Pennsylvania on Cemetery Hill in the Battle of Gettysburg. So between my mother and my father, I have probably more than 100 ancestors or relatives that fought in that battle. So when I go there, I'm on a mission to tell their story. Okay? And it's not just some insignificant, boring story. It's not just a regurgitation of history. It's not just this big history lesson that, bores people into sleep. What I do in my videos, if you have seen my videos, I urge you to go all the way back and see my Gettysburg videos. I try to put a little bit of context, a lot of ancestral context into my videos. And when I'm there, it's so special because I'm walking on the footsteps. I'm walking on the same ground that my ancestors walked on in July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 1863. Okay, this isn't just some battlefield. I'm not just learning about random people from thousands of years ago that had nothing to do with me when it comes to the modern history. This is my fourth great grandfathers, my fourth great uncles, my first cousins 2 or 3, 4 times removed. Okay, these are people that are very, very closely related to me. So when you walk on this battlefield, even if you don't have ancestors, it's fine. But when this battlefield and this battle, like I said, had so much significance, so much prominence into the Civil War, okay, the Confederacy was on the brink of winning that war. But this battle caused the Confederacy to capitulate. It caused the Confederacy to go down a collision course of failure. This is where the Union stopped the Confederacy. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just moderate, nonpartisan history, okay? But facts are facts, and this is where the Union Army stopped the Confederate invasion into Pennsylvania. If the Confederacy would have won this battle, the Battle of Gettysburg, the Civil War as we know it would have been completely altered. The Union might not have won the Civil War. The Confederacy might have become an independent nation. Is that a good thing? Well, maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But as a historian, as a descendant of that history who has 2 bloodlines, when I walk on this ground, I think to myself, so many men gave their lives and they sacrificed and they gave their all. Okay, in this energy that was poured into the battlefield, because people don't realize it until you see it. Until you see it to believe it. How the magnitude of that battle, the energy that was poured into that battle. And in my opinion, there is no other battlefield in North America that has the same significance and the same reputation as Gettysburg. I mean, yeah, you can go down to Sharpsburg, Maryland. You can go to Antietam. I've been there. You can go down there and you can see it. Antietam's a great battle too. But Antietam does not hold that prominence. It does not hold that energy that Gettysburg holds. Well, here's the reason why. Because there was so much on the line with Gettysburg. Those men on both sides, I've read reports that they knew that Gettysburg was the pinnacle. It was the tip of the spear. It was the make it or break it. It was overtime, Game 7 Stanley Cup final. You either win or you lose. You're done. And that is why Gettysburg, for me, and it should be for you, this should be like a bucket list. It should be a place that you go every single year. Because there's so much to do. There's so much to see. And people don't realize it. They go, okay, whatever, it's just a battlefield. You go into the town alone has so much to offer. There's so much life. There's so much going on. And as somebody from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my number 1 favorite place in the world, regardless. I mean, there's no other place in the world I'd rather be from than Pittsburgh. But I would say Gettysburg is number 2. And yes, there's a lot of pride in my state of Pennsylvania. Everybody knows this. Okay, yes, I'm a narcissist when it comes to Pennsylvania. I will say that Pennsylvania is the number 1 state. And Gettysburg being in Pennsylvania, in my opinion, it works out. Okay, it's so ironic that me, being from Pittsburgh, it takes 3.5 hours to get there. So to me, that drive is nothing. And if you're from the Eastern Seaboard, if you're from, any part of the states of the 13 colonies alone, you should go to Gettysburg. There's no excuse why you shouldn't go to Gettysburg. I don't care if you live in Florida. I don't care if you live in California. You got to visit it. It will absolutely change your life. It is dramatically changed my life. When I was at Gettysburg, my first time on the battlefield, I was 18 years old. Okay, I graduated high school that June, and I said to my parents, I want to go to Gettysburg battlefield. I want to walk the battlefield. I want to see this battlefield because I've been watching the movie Gettysburg since I was 4 years old. So, you know what I mean? All the way back since I was 4. That soundtrack, that music, that movie, there is so much lore to the Battle of Gettysburg, especially for me. And when I walked on that battlefield at 18 years old, 2 months after I graduated high school, the goosebumps, okay, the absolute goosebumps, it is like a magnet. It draws you in. And I don't know if it's just for me personally, but when you have bloodlines that fought and bled and sacrificed on that battlefield, You have a connection to that battlefield that is like two Legos coming together. It is so consistent and so smooth. It just forms. And it hooks you. The fish hook hooks you. Know what I mean? No pun intended. But the fish hook does hook you. And when you go there and you walk down that fish hook battle line, or even go on a Seminary Ridge, or you go on Little Round Top or Big Round Top or Devil's Den, it don't matter. The Valley of Death, it don't matter. You go anywhere in that battlefield, there is an energy. And there's a reason why it is called the most haunted battlefield in the world. And the energy and the spirits, and I don't care if you guys believe it or not, because I do, and I'm going to fight tooth and nail to convince you that it's real. But there is so much paranormal activity, so much energy, so many witnesses and people from generation after generation that have seen and heard things on that battlefield. And I've seen and heard them. I don't know if you have to be in touch with the spiritual realm. I don't know if you have to have some connection, but I dramatically do. When I go into that cemetery on Cemetery Hill, where my 4th great-grandfather, my 3rd great-grandfather were stationed in the 74th Pennsylvania, the 11th Corps Army of the Potomac, the Germans, when they were on Cemetery Hill, and I walk on Cemetery Hill, and I see the cemetery, and I see the unknown graves. All of these boys spanning from 16 years old to 25 years old, my age and younger, or maybe older, don't matter, but these were young men. These were men that more than likely did not get married, they did not have kids, they did not have a future. And their lives were ended on that battlefield. Their energy was poured out into that battlefield. 3 days in July, blistering heat, blistering humidity, no water, no food. Okay, and these boys, these men, they gave their all on both sides, Confederacy and Union. And in my opinion, it is a sin and it is a tragedy if we as the descendants, as we as Americans don't go there and pay homage and pay respect and give them the respect that they deserve, the recognition. And that is my point of this video. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter about the battlefield itself. It doesn't matter about the town. It doesn't matter about the anything, the entertainment whatsoever. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about the unknown soldiers. It's about the guys who never were discovered. It's about the guys that are buried out on that battlefield still to this day, 162 years today, and they still can't be found. They still don't know where they're at. And when you walk on that battlefield, and I do it every single time I go, I take my shoes and socks off because I ground, okay? I feel the energy going through my body like a charger when you plug it into an outlet on a wall and how it charges your phone. That's what I get. That's the energy I get. That is the spiritual energy that goes through my body because those men are buried underneath that soil. Not all of them are still unknown or don't have recognized graves, but they're in that soil. They're still here. They still roam the battlefield as spirits. The energy is still stuck to that battlefield. And when you go there and you ground yourself, take your shoes and socks off and stand on the soil, stand on the grass, stand on the dirt, and tell me that you don't feel something. You got to open yourself. You got to open your mind. You got to open your spirit. You got to open your heart. You really have to submit to the battlefield. You have to submit to them. Because these men, what they gave to our country on both sides, Confederacy and Union, doesn't matter. What they gave to us, the sacrifices, the honor, the respect, the dignity, the bravery, the courage. Those men faced odds, faced fears that we couldn't even face ourselves. And they did it. And it's a tragedy if we don't go there and give them the recognition, give them the respect, give them the honor and the dignity that they deserve. And that is the point of my videos. And that is the point of me as a descendant, as a grateful, honored descendant of that war and of those men. And I pledge my life, pledge my soul to those men, their sacrifices, and their service. There is no doubt that I will live there someday, and I will share their stories, and I will educate anybody about what they did for those 3 days in July in 1863. But anyway, the end of the day, that's what Gettysburg means to me. That's why I love it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please visit Gettysburg, and you will see what I was talking about when you're on that battlefield. But anyway, peace out. Have a good day.